the topic that was, excuse me, brought up. It was this past week. About what basketball has become. It was from this dude named Xavier C. Miller on X, and basically it was a long ass tweet. But it was in quote tweet talking about the NBA. We all know about the ratings issue that the NBA has had this year, about how it's declined, and how the original tweet said the NBA might be in trouble. It might become hockey popular in 10 years. Well, Zig quote tweeted this, and I'm gonna just read the first paragraph of this tweet, effectively saying, and I quote: "Basketball has unofficially become an upper middle class and rich person's sport. It costs anywhere between $30 to $100 per hour to get a kid basketball training, and to play on AAU teams can cost anywhere from $300 to $600, and that's without travel, hotel, food, gas, new shoes, etc." End quote. And he ends off the tweet by saying, "I believe within 15 years the NBA will be completely irrelevant in America," which is powerful. So my question to all of you now: has high school sports become an upper, more specifically high school basketball and basketball in general, become an upper middle class rich person sport? Tolu, you seem very enthusiastic to start this combo off, so we'll start with you.
Oh Jesus.
You know, absolutely, it has. And you want to know
You would know,
why?
wouldn't you? Didn't you go to a Catholic school?
Can you shut up, Ben? Like, get off my meat real quick. Shut up, okay? Shut up. But yes, it has. You want to know why? Because there's too much mulattoes in the NBA. There's no grind it all niggas, bro. There's not niggas like Bam, bro. There's not niggas that have to grind to be great. Okay? There's not people that have to, bro. There's no more LeBron James. There's no more
Hold on, time
Cristiano
out. I'm
Ronaldo.
sorry. Time out.
I,
Time out. Time out.
yeah,
Time
you
out.
said
You're one
mulattoes,
of
bro. What are
them.
you
You're
talking
one of
But
them that he tweeting about. You're one
I
of
am not a
them.
mulatto. I am not a mulatto. Shut up. Shut
Oh,
up.
but you
Shut
went to
up.
a Catholic school. You went to
I
a
did not
Catholic
go to a
school. You grew up in a gated
bro.
community. What are you talking about? He talking
Bro.
about you.
No, no, no. He's not talking about me. I went there for 1 year. I went.
Yes, you grew up in a
He's
you
trying to
grew up
call
in a
me
gated
Clarence. He
community.
call me Clarence, bro. Like, what is
You
this? What is
are.
this?
You are.
My gosh. Can I get to my
That's
point,
what you
please?
get.
Besides
You
Ben,
trying to throw shots and you the main one he talking about. Go ahead.
anyways, but you see, athletes that before us, like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Tracy McGrady, all those people that came before us, they looked at their families and said, "It's either we be great or we're not eating tonight. We're gonna starve. We're going to be homeless. We're not going anywhere." You see, they don't. There's not that anymore when it comes to high school players, because they get everything handed to them on a silver platter. They get all these free scholarships. They get all this money from other colleges. So they don't grind to get scholarships no more. So yeah, it's they don't have the passion. They don't have the grind like they did with other stars like Kobe, MJ, and all those people. So yes, I agree. I feel like the NBA is going down because there's too many mulattoes in the fucking NBA. There's no YNs, bro. There's no more YNs like Bam. Bam is a YN. Okay, we need more YNs in high school. We don't need upperclassmen. Okay, we need more YNs. Okay, we need more George Pickens. Okay, we need Kyron Lacey's. We need those type of high school players. We don't need
What
these.
do you know about a YN? What do you know about that?
Why is this
What do
man
you
on my
know
dick?
about that?
I
Nigga, you
dealt
just
with.
threw another shot at me after we just established you were one of the kids that he talking about.
I am not one of the kids. Okay, I know a lot about YNs. You know what? I know a lot about YNs. Bam.
You
Okay, I
you
know
grew up you grew up in Jersey City. You went to a Catholic school.
Jersey
You
City
grew
is
up in
is
a gated
is Jersey.
community.
This man just called
I can
Jersey
tell you
City a
specific.
gated community. Jersey City is not a gated
Hackensack could be
community. You
specific.
see, you don't know. You don't know. You
I'm
don't know.
sorry.
This man's.
Hackensack,
I'm sorry.
Hackensack could
You
be
grew up
specific.
in Bergen County. You grew up in Bergen
I
County,
did
New
not grow
Jersey.
up
My
in
bad. I'm
Bergen
sorry.
County. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Shut up, Bam. Shut up. Okay, shut up. But I got to my point. Let's just move on before this man
I,
trying to
well,
tell
I,
me, trying to,
I, I
you
was
know,
I was gonna
ew.
I was gonna really to really counteract to your points, Tolu, because I mean, Bam really does have a very clear point here, man. Who Tell me who anybody? This is a rhetorical question. Tell me who is it that gives these high school players a platform? Who is it that is constantly posting or trying to monetize whenever a 12-year-old 7-foot basketball player plays in a basketball game and we talk about it? Who gives kids, literal kids like baby Gronk, a platform to get potential IRL deals done with college programs before they've even hit puberty? We did. Not us specifically, but the fans did. It's people. It is the power of social media. All right. It's through the power of monetization. It's through the power of viral tweets. Clout is one hell of a drug, and they are making viral tweets and they are making money off of these kids. All right. It starts in high school when we talk about, oh my God, look at how tall this kid already is. He's got like an 8-foot wingspan, and he's about to be like the next Victor Wembanyama, but even better. And he hasn't even his brain hasn't even fully developed yet. We talk about you know high school sports in particular is where I think it really starts. That's the whole reason that, or one of the biggest main reasons that the G League team Ignite started. Like, to give these kids, another option when it pertains to joining the league. And we've seen a couple of players. They came in through that program, and some of them have survived, some of them have not. Jalen Green is one of those players that have kind of survived that. The Thompson brothers, are another good example. But then there's a couple of examples that aren't. Even when they were drafted, like Jalen Green, I remember specifically a lot of players, excuse me, a lot of people were talking about how arrogant this guy is. Excuse me, about how arrogant this guy was, about how, toxic his fan base is, because, they like to, post his highlights all over the place. And it's like, oh my gosh, this guy is like a highlight player. That's all he does. He does it, for the views and such and such. That was the critique. And, we see this with a lot of, top players nowadays. That's just what basketball is. That's just social media now. Like whenever a player, it don't matter the age, whether in high school, college, or the pros, like they're gonna get their viral moment. When it pertains to the NBA, and I'll go back to the pros when I say this, when it pertains to the NBA, I think that they are in for a huge reality check. I agree with the initial tweet, man. Those first 5 years when LeBron retires, that is going to be scary, dude. That's going to be really, really scary, I think. I think there's going to be a lot of top execs in the NBA that are going to be shocked and scared by those numbers when LeBron retires, because for majority of our childhoods and for a lot of kids that are in the league now, this guy was their GOAT. This is the star. This is the face that they see when they first watch basketball for the first time. And now that he's retiring, we all know a couple of potential players that could step up and be that new face. But I think this is a deeper rooted issue. This goes way past basketball. All right. I mean, shit, it happens every day on Twitter where you have, more specifically, the black community and talk about another topic other than fucking relationships and black men and black women and such and this, that, and the fourth. They can't talk about anything else. That's the only thing I ever see on Twitter nowadays, especially in that community. So let me get back to basketball. Um, yes, I think it's an issue, but it's not the kids' fault. Like this is, I think, what should be the case. But passion, the passion is different, especially now because they're not particularly fighting for anything. They shouldn't really have to fight for anything. Like it's kind of unfair to a player like Kobe, to a player like Tracy, to all the greats of the past that literally had to fight, you know, in scratch and claw to get to where they are. Like that's they were put in a very tough position, but they had to do it. They had to survive. You know, ultimately, these players got to survive too. These players got to eat too, and they will. Um, but obviously, it is on a much less uh, desperate scale than what we've seen in the past. So I don't think the issue is that these players are, getting like the top trainers, in great you know, classes, and great advice from, basketball players that are in the league now. I think the issue is just that there is no real. We're questioning like if these guys have real passion for the game, like because a lot of them, I think, don't have real passion for the game. You know, that was the biggest critique for Anthony Edwards. Like, is this guy going to be in the league in another 10 years when he first came out of college? That's all that is. You know, I think in due time that might change. That narrative will change. But right now, it just looks like a mess. It looks like these guys are just doing it to get a quick buck, doing it for NIL money, which essentially I think that it's what it is for a couple of players. Like some I know have outright come out and said that I know my peak. I know I'm not gonna make it in the NBA, but that's life. That's life. I think the example I'm thinking of is probably one extreme one. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that that's the issue. Um, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, those first 5 years without LeBron, the NBA is in serious trouble. I think, like serious trouble.
Let me
Nah,
expound on
man,
you.
I
PC,
don't
you
think
made a great
so.
point. PC, you
Okay,
made a
go
great
ahead.
point. I think that when you said that they shouldn't have to fight, I agree, but I also disagree. Because yes, while I do feel like um just the state of high school basketball has created this kind of like new culture. I agree with everything you said about social media and all that perpetuating into this culture. But I also agree that it needs to be a healthy medium. It shouldn't be situations where, you know, guys just have to fight and scratch and claw and do shit that you shouldn't have to do as a kid to make it to the NBA. I think that's preposterous. So, stories like T Mac and Braun and Kobe, I think that type of shit. And KG is like probably the biggest guy that comes to mind when it comes to unnecessary struggle to get to the NBA. Luckily, he had the talent to get there, but it shouldn't ever be a KG type situation where your mama got put you on the train to to Chicago or Georgia for you to play basketball. I think that type of shit is crazy. But at the same time, I think the fight should come in where everybody has equal ground. It doesn't matter if you from the trenches or you go to prep school. I think everybody should have the same opportunities, and that's where the fight should come in. It should be a fight to be the best in this in your group that you competing against. It shouldn't be, oh, I don't have the money to pay for AAU, so fuck it. I just got a talent, but I'm not going to the league. I think that social media has kind of made basketball a business or exhibition. If you don't have the highlight clips, you can't go on overtime and shit like that, then you're not going. Overtime not coming to the hood to cover kids that's playing basketball. They going to, Marietta and Chino Hills and stuff like that. That's where they going. They not going And if you can't pay for AAU, me and Lee was talking about it earlier. If you can't pay for AAU and AAU be like $1,200, $1,500, you're not on. Very rarely are you going, go from elementary school to middle school to high school and start getting recruited, getting stars. It's hard to do that. And just the whole ranking system, if you don't have stars, you're not getting recruited. I think it's one of the dumbest things ever. I think, star, rankings and all that culture has kind of tainted the game. But I don't know, man. I want to agree with you when you say when LeBron leave, it's going to be a little different. But at the same time, it's like the game got to go on. LeBron going to retire, but the game has to go on. Regardless of what direction they're going, it has to go on.
I did want to make one more point to add on to yours, Bam. You know how in the draft, I think the biggest critique about the draft is when they talk about the players. They always talk. There's always at least one or two players that they talk about. And it's like, oh, their mother just got killed in a car accident last year, or their dad got murdered in a a gunfight 10 years ago, and this is why they are how they are. I think that is more of a slap in the face to a players of the past more than a idea or respect of what that player is, and that's not the player's fault. Obviously, I think that's ESPN's fault. I think that's social media's fault. For making it something or misinterpreting what the message they're trying to get across is. That I mean, that's just another quick point that I just wanted to add to. Mook, I don't know who wanted to go next, Mook or Gianni.
PC, I just want to add a point about the next 5 years. I understand like the game still goes on. Bam said it basically before. The game still goes on even when Bron retires. We just need to see these young talent players involve and take over the game. It's special to see because when we see Anthony Edwards, I think he's great for basketball. Wemby, I think he can take over the league, and to a bunch of these players that you can name, I think is gonna be fine. The NBA, it's gonna take a little time because once Brown goes, that first second year, I think it's gonna be it's gonna be tough for everybody. But I think in the future with the young talent, I think we're gonna be in a great shape. I feel.
And that's my thing too. I just wanted to listen and really hear the points y'all are making. It was good points. I just don't. I think that this is we talk about the league and saying, okay, yeah, the league is a rich man's game now. You gotta be high class to play it. This was the direction that I feel like the game was always headed in. When you start to look at the overall goal is to become a professional athlete. You start to see the TV deals go up. You start to see, the price per ticket go up. You start to see all these things that are starting to press toward going toward that very, very high class league. You don't want people to think about the NFL. That's the kind of thing that I feel like we're headed toward because you want to be number one. You talk about soccer. They want to be the number one. When you look at all the money that's funneled in at the top, and you sit there and you see that, it has no choice but to trickle down and affect the people that are at the bottom, and affect the people that are okay, now we got to pay such and such for this amount of money. We got to pay, we got to pay this to get on this team and link with this guy. I got to get my son to this league with Bronny James so I can be able to get for him to get an opportunity to get this bread. So I think that's the point. And I think that when we talk about that kind of motivating and going hand in hand, that also starts to affect these kids. I mean, we were saying, I was saying in the chat, you don't get I think that's what Tolu was trying to say. You don't get the the kids that are out here just, fighting and scrapping and clawing for every single thing they get, you are getting the pampered, entitled kid, or, the guy that, he's just so confident. Not to say that the people that are fighting aren't confident, but he's a confident, like, if this doesn't work out, I have a plan B. Like
Exactly.
That's the kind of thing that is missing from the game when you start to look at that mentality that comes up, and like that mentality starts to spread out throughout the entire league. And then you add on to the fact that the league is now a players' league. This is not David Stern's league anymore. This is the players' league. People talk about LeBron wasn't influential. This is a LeBron influenced league as far as the players having the say in what they do and and where they, how much they play, how long they play there. If Giannis want to ask y'all right now, the Milwaukee Bucks have to get on their knees right now and beg Mr. Sir Giannis, Mr. You brought a chip to us, brother, please, because the players have that much pool. I mean, we're seeing role players getting paid upwards of 100 mil, bro. It's going to trickle down to the people down at the bottom, like that's trying to get their kid to the best school and to the best sports program so they can get recognition. Not only recognition, but not only play on a good sports program, but I mean, I want to be able to play. We gotta pay these people. It's just a money thing. So like, yeah, it has no choice but to get to this point where we're at, bro. Like it has no choice, and it's only going to get worse, bro. Like the people that are, you look at LeBron having, Bronny and probably Bryce in the league. That's going to be a thing that trickles down, and these players are millionaires, funding it. So like this is going to, the game is always going to be skewed up in the favor of money, bro. Like it's never going to change. Like I think y'all touched on it too. Nil money is getting there, so it's like now it's not even just the league. Like as a whole in basketball, you can make so much money, but you have to spend so much money to get there, bro. Like
these little
what they
niggas
made
be
it.
16, 17 in college already with millions of
Bro,
dollars, bro.
and like how can you sit there and
Crazy.
express like, hey, bro, you need to be responsible. This kid is entitled, bro. You just backed up a literal bricks truck to this man's residence and dropped off a pile of money and said,
It's
bro,
some niggas making more money from NIL than they gonna make in the league. They don't give a fuck
and
about
that's
basketball.
and that's where you start to see shout out Ben, the Armando
Ben Simmons.
Baycots. You talking about Ben Simmons went there.
Yeah.
You see Baycott go to college and he's like, bro, I'm fifth year senior. I'm making crazy bread. I'm not making none of this shit once I get to the G League at best. Like I'm not doing that. So like people are, I mean, there's so much money, bro. Like that's the thing, bro. It's always gonna be like that, and I feel like it's gonna be even worse as time goes along, man. Unfortunately, because money is just, it attracts a certain thing, man, and you I just hope that there's some regulation or some kind of shit put on it. Just like I said with the
Something.
Neil
That's
shit,
all,
bro.
bro.
Like
There's something, bro.
this something has to be like. I'm never against the young, and I don't want it to come off like that. Like we're saying, like, nah, youngin, don't get your money, what I'm saying? Don't get none of your chicken. Just sit there and straight up just play for nothing. These kids deserve something, bro. They deserve bread. They deserve to be compensated for their likeness, all that shit.
Especially when
But
these leagues making billions off them. Please get your
yeah,
motherfucking money. Please
yeah.
get it.
But
But it should be a
we want
point where
chicken.
it's niggas from the trenches that ain't getting no shine, and a lot of them be better
Yeah,
than these prep school cats. And I'm not mad
yeah.
at nobody for having bread to go to prep school,
Not at
but it
all.
should be equal. It should be equal footing.
And
Yeah.
I just
That's
feel like
that's
it's just no, we got it, Mook.
oh, I was saying that's just like that's the unfortunate side of it, bro. Like, the prep school kid is, gonna always get the shine. You look at all that shit, bro, and it's like you said, bro. I've seen it way too many times where there's a uber talented athletic kid, but he just can't get no shine, bro. Like you just can't get no shine. So money talks, man, and that seems like that's what's governing sports right now. Is what's going to continue to govern sports.
You had mentioned it being a players' league. I mean, we're effectively at a point even now that we have a potential superstar. Oh, I should say superstar, potential all-star on all 30 NBA teams. That's why they're talking about an expansion now. I mean, we're about to they're probably about to add like one or two teams to this league just to make sure that there's enough talent to go around. Right? I mean, a lot of people were pissed off about a guy like Lonnie Walker not being able to find a spot on a roster. All that's I think set to change soon. Because ultimately as the league grows, as more money gets piled in, there's bound to be um there's bound to be change. There's bound to be a whole lot of arrogant players, especially coming out of college. There's bound to be a lot of players that come in and effectively their main reason for playing basketball is going to be like, I just wanted the bag. We joke about it, a lot, as well, I'm not a parent, but like I know parents joke about it a lot about, oh, my son's gonna be a soccer player, he's gonna be a baseball player, he's gonna be a basketball player because they make money. Well, you know, that's that's effectively what's going on right now. So I mean, and that's just reality of the situation. Um, that is what the NBA is going to become. If that popularity ever grows, I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see what the ratings look like in another like 5 to 10 years. Because again, I really think that once LeBron retires, man, it's going to be a clean slate. It really is. It's going to be a clean slate. Gianni, if there was anything else you wanted to add?
Um, I feel like, like how you said, the 5, 10 year rating. I think it'll go down. It's already down, like how you see it already. But I feel like even when Braun retires, like how I said before, I think the league with these young talented players like Ant and others too as well, I think is in a good spot. I think it's not gonna look good, after Braun retires, to start with because people are gonna miss watching Braun, but like I think people are gonna start expanding their watching, what to watch and stuff like that, and I think that's gonna help the league too. And plus, with two expansion teams as well coming up, these other players that don't get a chance, like you said, Lonnie Walker, I think he's going to get an opportunity with one of these teams. I think I think the NBA is going to be in a good spot. Not to begin, once Braun retired, but like over time, you're going to see it. I think we're going to all see it.